Aha. Oh, alrighty, so this is going to be a beginner witch basics intro to herbology. I taught this like a couple weeks after the Discord first got started, so like 3-4 months ago, and we didn't have that many members. So now that we have a lot more people, I'm gonna go ahead and reteach it so that you guys can get the full class experience as well. Okay, so what is herbology? And I have 2 short definitions from dictionary.com. They say herbology is the study or collection of herbs, especially as a hobby. And then Merriam-Webster says it is herbal medicine. So in witchcraft, these 2 definitions are usually combined. And herbology, it can be used in several different magical practices. The 4 I'm going to be talking about are cleanses, spell bottles, sachets or sachets, and then kitchen magic. And these are just going to be really short slides. It's not going to be too long. So where do you find herbs for your craft? You're most likely going to find most of them in the grocery store. They're usually in the spices section, but if you also want like fresh items instead of dried ones, you can find those in the produce section, usually in the little refrigerated section. But if you don't want to do that, or you want to buy like a huge amount in bulk, you can go to like Shopee, Amazon, or Etsy and find those pretty easily. For more experienced witches who are into herbology, they usually will study their local area, what plants and just what is growing around them, and they just forage those and use them. But you always want to make sure that you're respectful and give back to nature as a thanks for providing those for you. So where do you begin? Probably make a grocery stop. The most common ones that you're going to find in the spices section is stuff like basil, bay leaves, black pepper, cinnamon, and then the rest of this. And then I just have a couple correspondences for each of the herbs, and the first one are going to be like, they're not like physical effects of them, but like spiritual effects. So if you're wanting blessings or you want to attract money, you can use basil in a spell. Or if you want, let's see, if you're doing like a healing spell, you can do mint, and you can use these in any combination of each other. And whenever you're doing spells with herbs, they don't just have to be alone. You can mix them with salt. Some people use crystals in spell jars, like this little one right here. And all of the pictures that I use in this presentation do have links either to a recipe or to a resource where you can find these ingredients. So you can click on those later on. So you're not going to find every single herb imaginable at grocery stores. Sometimes you're going to have to go to like metaphysical shops or botanicas, where they also sell stuff like crystals, divination tools, incense, and other things that you can use in your craft. And here are another list of herbs that you could probably find at like a metaphysical shop or botanica. Caraway, chamomile is really good. I like using valerian a lot. And these are also some correspondences for those. A lot of these have very similar correspondences. And then I just have a little note that even though these are listed correspondences for each of these herbs, and also for like candles or crystals, those meanings aren't really set in stone. You can go off of them. And if you feel more attracted to a certain herb, but the correspondence doesn't really match with what you're wanting to use it for, you can still go ahead and use it as long as you have the intention to go along with it. So, yeah. Personal correspondences are super, super powerful as long as you have that connection to it. Hey, did I skip something? Did I skip? No, I did not. So once you get, or before you start working with herbs, you'll want to research the ones you're going to want to use. These right here, these are more baneful herbs used for like hexes, curses, but not, they don't have to be just used for those, more like offensive magic. Some of these, they are like skin irritants, or inhaling the smoke can damage your body. So you'll want to make sure that you're wearing gloves and handling them with caution, and you'll never want to consume them, obviously, because they're poisonous. Let's see, somebody asked, is it important to memorize all the herbs and correspondences, or can we get by with keeping the information in a notebook? A notebook is great. There's a lot of information, a lot of herbs. You don't have to memorize every single one. I think it's probably impossible to memorize all of them. So keeping a notebook of really important ones that you like a lot, like what their correspondences are, where you could find them, what spells you've used them in. Keeping a notebook like that and putting in like a book of shadows or a grimoire would be really, really, really good. Yeah. So don't try and memorize every single thing that you use in your craft. It's a headache. It's going to take way, way, way too long. And I have a little note down here. Some of these baneful herbs are flowers that are pretty well known, like chrysanthemum or daffodils or daisies. But part of them or the whole plant is poisonous. So even though they're pretty and well known, you'll want to be careful handling them, and always research the plant before using it. Okay. And then the first method of using herbs is herbal cleansing. This can be done through burning or smoking, soaking them in baths, or making an herbal wash or spray. Whenever you're cleansing with herbs or cleansing in general, you always want to keep your intentions clear. Like you can say it out loud or think it in your head. I'm using this to remove negative energy. I am using this to invite peace and love. I'm using this to protect this home and those who enter. So you want to be very clear with what you're doing with the ingredients. These pictures here are examples of all of these. So burning a little bundle of pine needles, making a bath with like roses and flowers, and then making a little washing spray with all these different herbs in there. And these do also have recipes linked to them that you can use. Okay, so smoke cleansing. So cleansing with smoking herbs is probably one of the more common practices when you start researching how to cleanse. People use white sage, don't appropriate. You can also use bundles of like lavender or rosemary, like this picture on the very left, just different types of herbs, and dry them completely and burn them and cleanse your space. So whenever you move into a new home or just a new space, it's a great way to make sure that there's no leftover energy from who was there before, and just get out any entities that you don't want living with you. Smoke cleansing, it can be a ritual that you perform before you do spells, to make sure that your working area is clean, and it lets your spell have the most effect. Or it can just be done anytime that your home or your space you feel has become stale, where the energy is just off. So it's not, you don't have to do it at a specific time. But whenever you do burn herbs, you want to make sure that there's ventilation, opening up doors, opening up windows, because you don't want to harm yourself or anyone else. And once you're done with them, you want to make sure that they're fully put out and they don't just keep burning and smoldering. And you never want to burn herbs around your pets. They're sensitive to a lot of different herbs. And then whenever you do smoke cleanse, you always want to be respectful and don't appropriate from indigenous practices. So don't use the term smudging whenever you're smoke cleansing, because that is close to Native American practices. And you also don't want to use any herbs that are from those same practices or endangered. So things like white sage, sweetgrass are Native American, and then Palo Santo is Hispanic. And then cleansing baths. I think this method is very, very fun. It helps wash away any negative or stale energies while also not absorbing, but taking the positive energies of the bath. They can include different types of herbs like dried rose petals, lavender, chamomile. Yeah. People also put essential oils or milks in their baths while doing these, and that just helps like soften the skin, and it feels nice to be in. You can mix these cleansing baths directly into the bath by just dumping however much of each that you want, or you can mix them in super big batches and keep them in a container to use later. Taking a bath with cleansing mixture, it can be really good for grounding and decompressing, not just from spell work, but just from daily life in general, because things are super draining and you just need time to yourself to let all of those go. If you do it in a bath, like in a bathtub, you can even put candles around to light up the room and put crystals on. I've done that before. It's really fun. And you can put on music or like meditation music or healing sounds to amplify the purpose of that. I didn't put this in, but it doesn't have to be a bath. You can also cleanse in showers as well. You can do things like scrubs, or just making a bundle of the herbs and tying them around the shower head and like letting the water and the steam let the aromas through. So yeah, it's really cool. Okay, and then cleansing washes or sprays. These are made usually to physically clean an area. So herbs are kept in a container, like in this picture right here, and they're mixed with vinegar and a little bit of water. And you can, once you like strain out the herbs, you can use it to clean your counters, your tables, bathtubs, your altar spaces even. This combination of like herbalism and magical properties with practical home use is pretty common in like green witches, kitchen witches, hearth witches, those types. Making washes or sprays is also a great option if you are in the broom closet or you're not able to openly practice, because it does have a use in your home, and sometimes or most times a lot of the supplies are already in your kitchen, so you don't have to go out and buy extra herbs to use for these. Okay, and then the second use for herbs is spell bottles. I do this one the most. These are a great method of manifestation, usually for things like self-love, creativity, protection, health, or really anything you want to invite into your life or someone else's life. They're usually filled with a mixture of herbs, sometimes crystals or tag locks, and people also usually write sigils on them. If you feel that a spell bottle has completed its purpose, you can take it apart and take out all of the herbs and whatever's in it, dispose of them. But you want to make sure that when you're doing spell bottles, don't bury anything that is non-biodegradable or is harmful, or dump anything that is harmful to nature, because that's just not nice. I like spell bottles a lot because they're really versatile. They're small, you can hide them very easily, you can take them with you. And I really like this very top left picture. It doesn't have to be like an actual bottle. Somebody used a container for mechanical pencil lead as their container for a spell bottle, which I think is really creative. And then we have sachets or sachets, I've heard people call them. I don't know how it's pronounced. These are small pouches. They're very similar to spell bottles in their construction and their purposes, usually for manifestation. So you add herbs, crystals, tag locks, anything else you want in there. Sometimes these can be more easily hidden in like a clothing. Just keeping in your pocket. I know some people sew them into the hems of like jackets and stuff, or you can just hang them as little decorations, and it's kind of like a discreet way of hiding them. These are usually made out of like little drawstring bags. They can be like lace, canvas, silk, velvet, organza, really anything that just like ties and pulls shut. And then right here, it's a little graphic of what can go into a protection sachet. So they have a couple different crystals in there, some herbs, garlic, and just mix it all together, tie it up, and keep it wherever you want. So I think these are really cool. Okay, and then the last method is kitchen magic. I lied, I actually do this one the most because I cook a lot. So the use of magic in the kitchen incorporates several aspects of witchcraft, like herbalism, time, color correspondences, the elements, and manifestation. So it's a really great way to perform spells without being like super like witchy about it. Like you're just cooking food with intention. And I really like doing this because when you're intentional about the ingredients you use, you're putting care and love into it. And food, when it's made with love, always tastes a lot better. So really for any food ingredient, you can find correspondences online. Des, she posted an adobo protection spell. So if you Google like garlic magic correspondence or garlic magic meaning, you can find things for that ingredient and then use them in your dishes. So like, yeah, rice, pork, potatoes, and radishes. And always remember that personal correspondences can be just as powerful as ones found online. And yes, Filipino cooking helps the soul. So good. Let's see. And then just to have a couple pictures of different herbs and some of their correspondences. So like here in the middle and the bottom, these ones are more like not the spiritual correspondences, but the health body correspondences, their effects, benefits. Yeah, that's the word. So like bay leaf, it's an antioxidant and it can help with insulin function. Let's see, oregano helps soothe stomach muscles, stuff like that. So while you're doing kitchen magic, you can also think about the benefits it'll have on your body as well on your spiritual self. And then here is just a little 18+ warning. For those who partake in smoking, you can also use herbs for that, which I think is super fun. These are herbs that I personally have used. So rose, dried rose petals, lavender, mugwort, mullein, chamomile, and mint. And these are also just some physical effects that it can have on your body, and then also some of the spiritual ones. So lavender is a great pain relief, and it relieves anxiety, and it can also promote love and protection. And whenever you do smoke these, you can smoke them alone in like herbal mixes and make little herbal cigarettes, or you can mix them with things like tobacco or cannabis, which is very fun. But if you do want to smoke any herb, you want to make sure that it's something that's organic and is not grown with like pesticides or anything harmful, because you don't want to be taking that into your body and potentially harming yourself. Very, very important. And then wrapping up a little bit, this is our last slide. So whenever you start working with herbs, you do want to start small. Pick out a couple herbs that you feel attracted to naturally, and look up some spells that you could use with those first, and then start branching out into a bigger array of herbs, I guess. And you do want to use personal properties as well as written ones. And be safe. If you're burning herbs, always do it in a fire safe container. If you're burning like a lot of herbs or other things as well as herbs, probably keep some water nearby in case the flames get super big and it's just a mess. And always research and do more research and cross-reference the things that you find. And yeah, always vet your sources and make sure that they're coming from reputable, non-biased sources. And things you don't want to do: don't burn around pets, don't burn them in closed spaces, don't consume anything that's baneful or could be poisonous to you, don't appropriate from any closed religions or practices. If you're finishing up a spell, don't dump just a used spell out into nature. And if you're doing something to do with manifestation, you'll never want to infringe on anybody's free will. So don't do like love spells for a specific person, because that's infringing on their free will. Just shade, but not shade, really. I don't know. And then I have some additional resources and readings you can do. If you want to go out and buy some herbs, some bottles, or those little drawstring bags, I have some links for those. Unfortunately, this is before I knew Shopee was even a thing, so I don't have Shopee links. I am so sorry. But there's some like Etsy and eBay and Amazon ones. Okay, somebody asked, when it comes to sachet bags, is it better to sew it yourself? I mean, it's not bad to use ones that you buy if you make one yourself. It can add more intention and more like oomph to your spell, I guess, because you're physically making it yourself. So I think making things to use in your craft is a really powerful thing and can make your spells more powerful. Yeah. And then some readings. If you guys want to look into more of herbs, here just some other herbs and their properties, some medicinal ones. I have this blog post about how to avoid cultural appropriation when using herbs in your craft, and then just a little intro to using witchcraft in the kitchen. I think that is it. Yep. Yep. Yes. Does anybody have any questions? Anything at all? Is it okay to put out incense? Yes, of course. I've had somebody ask, I think yesterday, if it's okay to put out like incense or candles that you're burning for a purpose early. Yes, you can always do that. You don't have to let everything burn down every single time that you light it. So totally okay.
Especially if you're gonna light anything, you want to practice correct fire safety. And if you think that it's going to be bad to keep it running, then turn it off.
Would it be okay to reuse the incense stick too? Yeah, definitely. You can use and recycle. It's always really good to do that in your craft. So go ahead and reuse them. Let's see. Vince asked, what herbs are healthy or good for pets? That is a good question. Let's see. For dogs, because I know you have a dog, Vince. Let's see. It's a magazine. Dog magazine.
Overall, they should be fine. Most things should be fine except there's like 3 specific ones that can kill a dog. Just I think it's like
what herbs are bad for dogs.
Yeah, all of them should be fine except for these ones. Don't feed them, but like when you're like, if you're going to like, however you inhale it or smoke it or whatnot.
So just looking
should
at,
be fine, and lavender. Yeah, chamomile.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So here's a little list.
Also weed.
Yeah. Don't give your dog weed.
Yeah. That's a bad.
Yeah. So chamomile, chives, garlic, hops, leeks, weed.
If you have a cat, give them what's it called? Catnip.
Catnip. Rhubarb and tomatoes.
I know people have tried to smoke catnip.
I'll actually drop this link for you, Vince, so you can have it to look at. Yay! Okay, any other questions?
Good. Anyone have any other questions?
Nope.
Give it 2 minutes and then. Yeah. Thanks guys for coming.
Yeah,
nice
thanks for coming. I'm glad you're all
hopefully
here.
we'll have more stuff running. Not sticky, but yeah, just so that people can come join and it'll be fun.
Yay!
It's always great to have.
Oh, of course, Trixia. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Oh,
it's your first time
hi,
here.
welcome. Thank you for coming.
Aww.
That's awesome. Welcome. I'm glad you're here.
We're always happy to see new people come, and
absolutely.
Even the old people come. It's like great.
I'm glad it helped.
Hopefully we'll have more stuff, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to ping the mods.
Yes.
Especially us and Ray.
Yes, and this presentation, it's already in witchy classes, so you guys can go and look at that because I've already taught it before.
Is all the way at the bottom.
Yes, all the way at the bottom.
In depth about spells more in depth.
There will be in the future. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I wouldn't mind to do one. That'd be fun.
That'd be super fun.
Yeah, we can do like a guided spell with like people.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming, Josh. After this class is over, or after the room is closed, we'll be moving to VC and Discord. So if you guys want to come hang out, we'll be in there. And if you think of any other questions later too.
Mhm.
All
Okey-dokey.
righty.
I'm gonna head to the place now. Ciao.
Oh,
Yeah, please join. Thank you this
Oh.
session.
thank you, Roland. I'm glad it helped. Anybody, you can like
Oh.
message me at me if you have any questions or anything, okay? Okay.
What time is it for you, Rowan?
Oh my
Alright, bye.
goodness.
If it's late, then we can like reschedule other stuff to make it better for.
Yeah.
Yes. Alright,
Okay.
I'm leaving. Bye.
Okay, bye
Oof.
everybody. Thanks for coming.